Why, hello and good evening. Welcome back to another late night live stream. Tonight we are doing some more Ace Attorney Chronicles. Oh, not that one. There we go. Checking for DLC. I don't have any. As far as I'm aware, is there DLC for this game? Short extra episodes. Oh. There's just like some extra story stuff. That's cute. We're not here for that. They got skins? Yo. Interesting. Susato? Oh, cute. Sholmes' Japanese jumble mix. Oh god, what is this gonna be? No. We'll go with the classics. Alright, well, we'll continue where we left off. So, we are not Naruhodo, but instead Susato? And our boy Hosonaga has a turtle on his head. They were all there. The returning cast. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl's astride? Astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, and she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Indeed. It does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it, the very moment of this heinous crime. What? Ryutaro.
Now, if you recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, Counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic prints of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me! Is that the pen in the suitcase, or what? Oh, it's in her hand. I'm blind. Yes, the victim was clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Oh, the owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Membami. The initials of the defendant. Uh-oh.
No!
Oh. It's kind of caked up, Hosonaga. Sheesh. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. Uh-oh.
So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor ouchie of 9 months ago. I've none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Come on, Ryutaro. You can do this, girl. Naruhodo. That means I'll... Yes, me. Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Cousin Ryotaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. Let's see what I can do. You can do this, girl. You can do this, girl. In the witnessed scene. Okay, before we do this, I want to look at the pen, see if there's anything sketchy about that. I don't want to present, no. History? Press? I can't examine this one. I can examine this, though. So this is very sus. Immediately, I noticed the wine glass on the ground. But if she's grasping the pen, how did she hold the wine glass? You see what I'm saying? I mean, maybe she held the wine glass and then she fell over, and then somehow in her dying gasp, she was able to clutch the pen, but I highly doubt it. Yeah. Interesting, very interesting. Oh, I have a magnifying glass. That's right. Some good that this will do. I don't know what that thing is. Yeah. Okay, what about this? Oh, look. I forgot the cat's name, but it's the cat. Okay. Let's press.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise?
Correct. Wait, no! I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day.
And this tried and tested outfit was the answer.
Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle are his eyes and ears. He tells them everything. Mr. Turtle loves the water.
But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there?
That made you late arriving on the scene. I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Oh my god, you're dying. You fucking killed him, Mikotaba.
Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment.
I'm surprised no one's caught on to our disguise yet, given Susada's voice. Maybe she's doing a really good male impression. Alright. Catch that crab.
Hold it!
You got crabs now?
Ah, you're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Soseki-san.
In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Oh, my bad. Kya! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors aren't wont to describe things so.
Soseki-san wasn't all like this in England.
Japan got to him. Anyway, I spun around at the noise and the beach hut immediately fell into my gaze.
Yes, the beach hut.
The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it is always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Aha. Although, the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand.
I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you.
Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or, in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hut-wise. These are new poses that they're doing for him. I don't remember any of those.
Hold it!
Wait, by pair, you don't mean to say... How could that be?
No, you must understand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant, Raymond Mabi-san.
Oh, it would have been helpful if you just said that from the outset.
Jump to conclusions, you'll have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes.
Dear me, betting your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish. It really was an outside chance. I just wish I realized that before I said something silly.
Okay.
So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut?
It was a sorry sight, a real grisly scene. The defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled on the sand. That's it?
My God, you're dying again.
They're definitely gonna, like, tie this loose end from the last game, right? Like, he's gonna die or something, or maybe we'll find a cure for him? Oh my God.
How thoroughly appalling.
Ugh.
He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Soseki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder?
You'd like a literary man's opinion. Dagger in hand as she stabbed wildly.
Hold it!
That's not what Hosonaga said.
Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it?
Oh, indeed. The terrible Spectre. The terrapin Inspector. The bloody torrent. The author's torment.
Eek!
Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Counsel, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream? Oh, no. What are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you.
I wonder if I might interject here, Soseki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression, or your words just now, I believe. Oh. Look at this fucking guy. He's twitching. His whole face is twitching.
Ah, so you mean to say you're not confident you really did see what you were described?
No, yes, I know what I saw. My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream, hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial.
It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn.
Oh, typo? Installment? Misspelled? No, I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become.
Oh dear, how awkward.
saw blood on the blade.
Hold it!
She was stabbed multiple times. How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding up the blade raised up in the air. Okay. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. Oh. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand too. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Yes, right. Saw it too. You're useless, Soseki. Maybe here in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. The logic of your argument is sound at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. Ooh, that's just my personal opinion, of course. Damn. Actually killing him with that burn. Oh, he's hiding now. Poor guy. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness. Oh, man. Alright, so all I can do is stand here wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear, you must really try to calm down. How am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. Various reasons: a misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion, even. Ah, a delusion. What's important is that we determine the truth, and there's only one sure way to do that. Evidence. Alright. Let's do this. You can use E. Alright, Mikotoba. I got it. I've played these games before. Everyone has to start with a tutorial, I guess. Just in case, for some reason, you've never played a Ace Attorney game before. Even though this is a direct sequel. I hope I'm up to the task. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember, so those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl. You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start. Alright, so I think the clear thing to look at here is to look at our post-mortem report. Only a single wound was identified. There we go. That's all we need to know. Present. Sorry, Hosonaga. I didn't think you'd be the first one to be wrong, but here we are.
Objection!
What a cute objection. Look at her doing the finger point. You're basically a lawyer already. You can do this, girl. With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, counsel?
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. Who, what, where, when, how? Not you, Soseki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. At me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, The defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What? Get to the point, please, counsel. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only. She's locked in. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. Dude, Sasato's a natural at this. Naruhodo had like a whole phase, a whole first chapter where his desk slams were wimpy, his finger points were not there. He couldn't even say objection yet. And Soseki-san? Me? You claim to have seen Mimabi-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes. Yes, I did. Wildly. But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and? It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. Ah, true! Then what exactly is your contention, counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be! Excellent work, Sasato. You're gonna blow my cover, man! Dad, stop! You're embarrassing me! You exploded at them with that objection. Exploded. That's right. And then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Objection!
Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. How would a child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show?
Right, there were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who was only half a head of hair.
Slander! My head is already quite adequately dressed.
In any case,
All this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds makes not a jot of difference.
what? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged their deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Ah! All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance.
The fucking recoil on that. I am in agreement with the prosecution. The defendant was seen wielding the blade at all. That is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. Well, that didn't get us anywhere.
But she was withdrawing the blade. Then we are back to where we started.
Sorry?
Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim,
I wonder what that kanji says.
then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too.
If I were to know this game, if I know this game well enough, that kanji on its fan probably says guilty or something. Something corny like that, you know?
The execution demands an explanation, and it better be good.
Why did Ray pull out the knife? Oh yes, going for the jugular. What does father mean by that? The court hear your answer then, Consul. Truth is, I don't really know, but I have to come up with a plausible reason here. We don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife out of the victim's body was surely so that she could save her life. I mean, this has got to be it, right? But I'm fairly certain in most cases, at least in real life, you shouldn't pull out the knife of a stab victim, or else you're just gonna make the bleeding worse. But here goes nothing. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research assistant, Mimali-san was compelled to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem that this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed. Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify in respect to the slipshod assertion that just put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean.
Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector.
Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. We'll do so flawlessly. All right, what you got? Are you just going to say that pulling out the knife would make it worse? Forensic medicine primer. All right, he is saying what I was thinking. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Is what you said just true? Wait, that's not what the sentence reads. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Till a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper should be removed.
Oh, I see. Ha! This is why yokel should stay in the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Oh, poor girl. Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know. Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but could my friend actually have? No, you gotta believe her. Susato?
Yes?
Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Ah,
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards. Stakes are high.
I understand.
Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Let's do this. Alright, so I do want to double check the post-mortem report. Trauma to the lung. Only a single wound. Was she bleeding really bad? Well, you can see the blood through her dress, so probably. Probably. So I think our route here is pressing, which is correct 99% of the time.
Hold it!
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean if you used due care and attention, it would be alright?
I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but the blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You can't just do it.
Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Alright, well, that didn't do much.
Hold it!
There's an obvious explanation here. She's just too stupid.
Clearly, the defendant, Ray Mamami-san, does not possess an ounce of sense.
What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? The look on his face, he's like, oh man, you really done it now. I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer. I don't know, young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Oh my god. He's careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing. He's smacking his hand like he's about to hit me. That's life, I'm afraid. Lesson everyone must learn. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim.
Hold it!
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. Can't imagine she would behave so irrationally.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it?
No, Ryotaro. Susato, you can't do this. To your own gender. Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only small-minded men could have such bigoted views.
Oh dear, perhaps I'm letting my male persona take a hold of it a little too much.
And he's dying too.
Hold it!
Whatever the motive, it just isn't Membani-san's nature to do something so awful.
She had both motive and opportunity. It's very hard to argue against.
But you don't know the defendant.
Attention!
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law.
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused.
So do I. Alright. Anyways, the sworn enemy of Membani-san.
Hold it!
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membani-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman.
She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membani-san's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere.
What did we do? It's not obvious to me either. It's especially important to remember the fundamentals. Look at the evidence.
The fundamentals.
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too. I realize this is your first time playing the role of a lawyer in the courtroom, so if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record.
It's an idea, certainly. What should I do? I know what to do.
Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-sama are always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with
Space. They're just giving me the tutorial anyway. Okay, well, I guess not the thorough tutorial. All right, let's look at it. We can examine the pen. I don't think we were able to do that before. Can we open it? Oh, look at her. Okay, she looks a little more male with this sprite.
There's some sort of emblem here, look. But it isn't a Yume University one.
It must belong to some other organization, I suppose, a business of some kind. But what would seem to imply that... But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't, in fact, belong to Ray. There we go. As well as an emblem of some description. Interesting. Okay. Can we remove the cap?
If we take off the pen's lid.
That's a fountain pen, all right.
Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we?
We're looking at everything here, huh?
This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up to the nib. But it's empty.
Something wrong, Father?
Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there. That's all.
Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty.
Could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. Very, very interesting.
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
The fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too.
To identify her killer, you mean?
I don't think there could be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. Alright, did we look at everything? Looked at the tip, we looked at the reservoir, we looked at the emblem. I think that's it. How about this? We'll examine this. This is totally different when I tried to examine this compared to last time. I could even rotate it before. This is the newspaper from Soseki-san. An important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume University Research Laboratory. From Yume's medical research.
Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that.
The poison's been stolen?
I think the victim might have been poisoned.
Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is with the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard of any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray, she was managing it.
What's written here is true. It means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully. Article about the poison that was stolen. Even he didn't know about the front side.
Raucous England, returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, is it, Father?
Looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
I do hope you weren't hurt.
Alright, well, I can't flip that over at all. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Does it describe the poison, though? Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of pupils prior to death. Where have we heard that before? Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Okay, I think we have to do this one. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Maybe she knew it was poisoned, so we have to present this.
Objection!
There we go.
No, there is one possibility.
Let's go, femboy lawyer.
One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound.
What?
Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from laboratory at the Imperial Yume unit.
Attention!
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case.
Wrong. Professor Alchi, you will let the defense speak.
But a newspaper article, the court cannot rely on that kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry.
Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion.
Your Excellency.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would have never done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. Where it says, let's see which one it is. Why is the poison being developed? I think it's this one. Because it says contraction of the pupils, and then in our autopsy, we have pupil constriction. Or is it? Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, could prove fatal in minutes. Maybe it's this. Maybe she wanted to take it out right away. Deadly in tiny quantities. Now that I think about it, I think they want me to answer this page here. I'm gonna go with my gut here. Because sometimes you have to think about what the game wants from you, even though the answer is right there. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? I think I got it right. If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Membami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. There we go.
Attention!
This is complete and utter nonsense.
Not at all. Dude, this music is so good. I wonder if this is Sasato's theme or if this is just the I guess what do you call it? The pursuit theme for this game in general. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Attention!
No, she did die from the poison.
Oh please, this is clearly desperation, the weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe, and the defense is well aware. We have no proof that information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
What the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. Alright, let me prove to you that she was poisoned. With the autopsy. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly, well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, Yoko?
Why did Ray suspect that stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What?
You can't possibly.
Oh, yes, I can. It would appear that those are not empty words. Maybe they are, I'm just bluffing. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times. In my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article? Is it this one or the article itself? No, it's a link between the article and the poison, so it's got to be the post-mortem report. It's got very constricted pupils. It's this one. I'm pressing R. There we go.
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim.
There we go.
Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death. Well?
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. There is extreme constriction instead. That's most certainly unusual, yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt. Oh, we're getting him.
Prosecutor Ouchie?
I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence.
You yokel student, you yokel professor.
He really loves that word, yokel. I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
Oh.
Eugene Mikotoba? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Ha! Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father. A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. That's totally unfounded.
What? Oh, Ray. Hello.
None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray.
Mimbani-san. and accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I've been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So I decided to try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was.
The thief?
You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty English one.
Miss Giselle Brett?
And so I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool in the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me, as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes had shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it. In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips once I'd been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back.
The train of thought was what spurred you to draw the blade.
Yes, the amount that entered her bloodstream was small enough she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here in this courtroom now. If only we had a giant-ass scale where we can toss fireballs into to tell who's winning at the moment.
Objection!
Every courtroom should have one of those. Let's be real. Now that it's gone, only now I know how much I miss it. Alright, yeah, how the hell did she get stabbed? From outside the tent, maybe?
Objection!
You have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you?
Oh shit. He actually has something.
He hesitated for a moment there, almost sure of it.
Alright, what do you got? What do you got, bud? Give it up, show me. A picture? Oh, I can see her, like, huddling over her. Oh, she's in a swimsuit too. How scandalous. What the? Could a more damning shot exist? Who the hell took these pictures? It's that photographer guy behind Soseki. That guy's so sus. He has like blue on his hand too. Why the fuck is his hand like... Why the fuck did his hand have a smear of blue on it? You know what this means, though, is that the hut had, like, holes in it that you could stab people through. Yeah, this could easily be a picture of her pulling it out as well. Braid's got a great pull-out game. I'm sure of it. Alright, counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature.
No, Ryutaro is Japan's first femboy lawyer.
I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Didn't you know? Careful now. Susato is starting to show her face here. I want to know who the fuck took the picture. Did no one ask this? Like, how did you get this picture and who took it? Can't believe he has had a photograph like this asleep the entire time. Such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words.
How did you... I mean, who took that photograph?
At least she's asking. There we go. That's what I'm saying.
Objection!
That's of no importance here. I think it is. The person was there at the crime scene.
Objection!
That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony.
I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. He's sweating bullets. Must be the actual guy. You can't do that. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Express post? You gotta be shitting me. Anonymously? Wow.
In full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court.
Got him. When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you yokel student blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses. But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife's plunged into the victim's back, but...
The moment is withdrawn. Yeah, sure. Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. Uh-oh. Time for me to fight. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim. Yes, we just need to prove that somehow. How the fuck do we do that? What evidence do we have? Maybe we just do a quick comparison? I don't see it.
If I can't determine to look at this photograph, then the trial's going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it. Your Excellency?
The burning question is who took that photograph. And the truth is, I have the answer. Do I? People. Well, I don't see that weird photographer. It can't be these two. Maybe I just be honest here. Oh, we can see the cracked lens here. Crack on the right? The same crack on this picture? So it's definitely the same photographer that took this picture, which is more likely to be that photographer who's been trailing Soseki, yeah? So I think the right answer is I don't know. No, if I give up now... Oh, never mind. You steel yourself and summon your best argument. This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. Simply have to. My choice didn't matter. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal. I guess I don't have a name yet. So, I was like, I don't have the name right now. I don't have the person in my people list, so I can't produce that. But I guess we'll go through it the long way, you know? We'll prove that it's the same photographer. Okay, yeah, unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
How utterly underwhelming.
However, I'm able to present evidence. The defense is a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. All right. I believe it is this one.
Take that!
What is that? The newspaper again. Raucous England returnees tell all. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side. Oh, yes, indeed. They'd already caught my eye, as it happens.
One of it, a shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree or the like.
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Now, if you look closely at this photograph...
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing. Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely. From the branches of a tree.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach, Council.
Oof.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. Could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
Curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of
a camera defect.
Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched. That the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device. In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. Alright, now we just need a name. Who took the picture?
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, not Professor, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. Newspaper, That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime. No, I didn't think the author would be the one also taking the pictures. Who? What the fuck did you just say? I see why you were called a raucous England returned.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified.
It's... What, who? Mini memo? Many memo? Meeny miny mo? Many memo. Mo. Saseki-san, what was that? Did you say many memo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Raiten Many Memo.
Oh, he writes many memos. That's the guy. Ah, now that he mentions it. Could that same reporter be? Ah, the same initials too. RM, right hand many memo. Right hand many memo. Mm-hmm.
The camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, stuck in the middle with Raiten Many Memo.
So you're saying that this picture was taken by
Many Memo, yes! My lord, your excellency, Esquire.
Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. That bitch ran away as soon as we figured out it was him. All right, recess time.
Oh, yes, your excellency. As you say, your excellency.
Oh, this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison.
Many Memo!
To be continued. Very nice. I think this is a fine place to end for today. Yeah, I think so. Playing GA 2. Resolve. We're making progress. I don't know if we're actually halfway through the trial or not, but we'll see. Maybe we're like a third of the way through. Alright, well. We'll leave Sad Ray here until next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Until next time, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. And be well.